What's up, guys? Holding the Alex with you here, bringing you My Hero Academia manga review. This was chapter 218, titled The Special Ability Liberated Army. This was a very insane chapter, very hyped. It was more like story progression, but the way it was done was very done well. It begins with the students, being happy because it's snowing or whatever, and some goes out to play, and some are watching TV. And they bring up that Bakugo and Todoroki on their last stage of taking their hero license exam. Because remember, they both failed, so they had to retake it. And they passed course 1, but now they're in the last course of it. And while they're going taking their test, one of the students was watching TV, and he was like, I'm surprised that I passed. And they was like, don't get cocky and stuff like that just because you passed. Every now you have your hero license, you still must train to, be up there and take more classes and stuff. Letting us know, the viewers, that it's not that easy. But while that's going on, the TV states in a news report that a company that's known for life supplies, known as Deverant, had now they're getting their hands on hero supplies. So now they're gonna start making hero supplies for heroes. And where the news is saying that, we switch over and we get to actually see the president of the company. And his secretary is like this half human. It's like a human with a head of I think a bunny. And he's showing him the commercial and stuff like that. And the commercial's talking about how humans with special needs were basically looked down upon. But then after a while, it started to become so common that people were being born with these special needs that they just slapped them with quirks, and here we are today, making your life easier and stuff like that. And it was an advertisement commercial that this bunny guy made. I believe we got his name. It's Mashito or Mashita, something like that. And he gave it to the boss, and the boss was like, "Can you cut off the part where you're showing my headline?" Because he's kind of bald in the front. And he was like, "But that's the best part. That's what makes the video funny." And he told Mashito, "Oh, okay, you got jokes." And this bunny guy's making jokes, talking to his boss this whole time. And the boss said something weird about people with special abilities. And the bunny guy told the boss, he told his boss, secretary, "Don't you mean quirks?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, quirks. I'm just been reading this book for so long that I'm absorbed into the book." And we get to see the book that he's reading. It looks like a red book with a black ink mark in the middle of it. And the title of the chapter of this page for 218 was actually the title of the book. And the secretary, which is the bunny guy, replies to the boss, "Oh, I've read that book before, but it's crap. It's just talking about some guy who wanted to liberate people and really more of a terrorist and stuff like that." And when the secretary's walking out the window, the boss is holding in his head. And he's like, "What's wrong?" And he went up to the guy and he was like, "Do you have a wife, a girlfriend, any kids, relatives?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And the boss grabs his arm around the guy and he starts to hug him. But from a hug, it goes to a squeeze. And the bunny guy, "Hey, let me go, this hurts." And the next thing we know, we get a panel where the bunny guy, the secretary, he drops, he's on the floor. And the boss tells him, "I'm sorry, I wanted to introduce you to the others because you've been working so hard for me, but it seems I have to let you go." And then the boss goes to this other place. Looks like a restaurant, but underground it's more of a hidden organization. And we get the history of this guy named Destroyer, which is short for Destroyer. And Destroyer, basically what he was doing, excuse me, is that he was teaching people that you have power and you're born with power. And since you're born with it, you should be able to do whatever you want with your power. Nobody should be able to tell you how to use your power or when not to use your power. And it was a very twisted psychological standpoint. He was more of a terrorist. There instead, he used to grab people with special powers and beat them into submission for his army and stuff like that. And his army's point was to just cause chaos and do whatever they wanted with their power with no responsibility, no nothing. Which in real life, that would cause a major problem for those that don't have it, or for those that do have it but are too weak to defend themselves. So it was, it's kind of like, he's like the evil version of Dragon from One Piece. That's technically how this guy is. He believed if you have power and you have quirk, you should be able to use it how you want to. And then the boss mentioned something unique. He mentioned that Destroyer, basically, depending on which translation you read, some translation says kids and some says children. But no matter which one you read, that still indicates more than one kid. So, and we know this guy, we saw that when he was using that strength to choke the guy out, he had the same black mark that the Destroyer had in his face and his eyes, but only on his forehead instead. So we could assume that he's one of these kids. And when he went into the building, there was like 5 other people there. They didn't have no black markers in their body though, but they're part of this guy organization. So they could also be relatives as well. We don't know how many kids or how many relatives or friends they actually have. But it was stated by him that he's going to take the name Destroyer, or Destroyer, and he's going to basically annihilate the League of Villains. Which is kind of weird because, like I said, his physiology is weird. It's basically people with quirks should be able to do what they want and be able to be liberated. But though he wants to take out the League of Villains, so it's kind of weird. Maybe it was just the translation I was reading, or maybe it's not me understanding it correctly, but this guy is going to be a huge problem. I can already tell. Then at the end of the chapter, we get the final panel where people are in the streets doing whatever they want with their quirks, calling them the Liberate Army. And Bakugo and Todoroki comes up in the clutch and they just destroy them completely. And the boss is like, yo, who are y'all? Y'all are bootlegged heroes. Because, you know, they still have student uniforms on, but they have their hero gadgets on. Because they just passed, like 30 minutes ago, and just got their license. All Might's in there, like, one of the panels screaming at them saying, hey, you just got your license 30 minutes ago. What are you doing? And Bakugo replies, I didn't know a hero has a time limit to be a hero. I thought once you get your license, you automatically hero forever, regardless of the time zone. So it's funny him replying back, being smart as always, because, you know, Bakugo, he's a smart ass, but he is a smart person at the same time, so. And seeing Todoroki just there nonchalant, just freezing everything was pretty awesome. And that was basically the end of the chapter, but this guy, this president of this company, now that he's going to be doing hero, you know, making as well, is he really a bad guy, or is he going to be a a vigilante? What is he going to be? It's kind of weird, because he could be either of the three. He could end up becoming a hero, a vigilante, or a villain. But we know his dad was considered a villain for what he was doing. And if he's going to follow in his dad's footsteps, that's going to eventually lead him to be the same way. So, because again, you can't live in a world where everyone has powers and they're using their powers how they see fit. That's not really right. There has to be like an equal balance, a law that will balance everything out so everyone can like coexist and get along. And it seems like to me, he's going to try to follow in his dad's footsteps and destroy this code. Or maybe he may be the opposite and they're throwing us for a curveball, and he may actually do the opposite of what his dad is doing, working with the heroes, but in an underground type of way. It can go either or, but this was a really great chapter, great stuff. Destroyer looks pretty cool. I like his nickname, which was Destroyer without the E and the Y, and then he's just Destroyer. Or Destro, I should say. Destro is pretty awesome. But his son is now taking that mantle, and like I said, he wants to go after the League of Villains. And they actually have contact with somebody who's supposed to be in the League of Villains. So that's going to be very interesting. I have a bad feeling, though, since Hawk is undercover agent, that he might get caught up in some stuff that's not going to be too good for him. As much as I like Hawk, I kind of see him dying. And if he didn't die by Dobby from the League of Villains, he'll probably die from this guy. We don't know what this guy's quirk is. We know he's got super strength, so he was able to snap that guy's neck easily and just drop his body, so. But is that all his quirk has? And another thing I wanted to bring up, Deku just unlocked a new quirk, Black Rope. And we know, as his name sounded, there's actually a black rope of energy coming out of his body. But when Destro uses his power, he has like a black mark that appears in his forehead. So I wonder, is this guy family related to Deku? Maybe when the owner of Black Rope was alive, he was actually fighting this guy, and maybe they were related. maybe this is the arc when Deku goes on to learn more about his other heroes in their past, so he can learn how to use their quirks. Just throwing that out there. Never know. But that's all I have for you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Give this video a like. Hit the notification bell to get more. Follow me on Twitter. Link will be down below. That's all I have for you guys. Peace out and have a good one.